Meta's new algorithm update called Andromeda has changed absolutely everything. Now what? Okay, so one of the biggest fundamental shifts with this update, which actually happened in late 2024, we started testing a lot of the methodologies that we're gonna be talking about in this series in and around spring of 2025 with our own money. In fact, we've spent, as of right now, as of this recording, over $7.8 million of our own money. This is not our customers' money, of our own money to test these strategies. I went to a Meta conference in early 2025 and they were talking about creative diversification. Wasn't exactly quite sure what that meant. Now it's apparent as to what they actually meant. I think they actually called it content diversification. And this was a change within the Meta's algorithm, which was just about to start coming into all the different ad accounts. We were starting to see it with some of our own personal business ad accounts. And what we realized is that the old way of doing ads, running meta ads, no longer applied. The old days of separating out your traffic between level 1 traffic, which is somebody who watches a video or maybe clicks onto your page and fires a page view event, then targeting those ads based upon their level of interaction. You specifically adding campaigns, creating campaigns to target these people. Then maybe somebody who hit a view content, which is your product page, for example, in a e-commerce situation. A lot of beauty brands that we have, obviously, when you go to the product page, it fires a view content event. And then let's say they add to cart. Okay, add to cart or initiate checkout, and then finally purchase. So what we used to do is way back in 2020 and 2021, 3-4 years ago, we used to target ads individually based upon the previous action. This was called the e-com ad amplifier, or otherwise known as just the ad amplifier. That has all completely changed. So everything here no longer works because Meta's Andromeda algorithm does all of this for you. So because Meta has invested over $72 billion this year, now what Meta does is it wants creative diversification. What the heck is creative diversification, if I can actually spell it? Think about it this way. Meta knows more about your potential prospects than you will ever know. With all of these billions of dollars being invested into AI technology, they understand every single user and what their propensities are. Are they clickers? Are they converters? Are they people that are interested in soccer? Are they interested in cooking? Are they interested in higher education? Whatever your product happens to be, and the past actions that they've made on the platforms, the Meta platforms, which cover, by the way, about 5/8 of the entire planet, people who use some kind of Meta platform. It makes their algorithm and their ad platforms especially powerful. So taking all of that information, all you now need to do, instead of telling Meta to target people who have hit your front page, your collection page, or somebody who has hit your product page, or somebody who has added to cart, or somebody who has initiated checkout or purchased. Meta now knows all this. They understand all of the actions of your previous users. And as a result of that, all you need to do is put together enough different types of creative in order for you to leverage this Meta Andromeda algorithm change. It's a monumental change. So the days of the same old product shots, you just putting up a shot of your product, okay? Maybe you put it over here, maybe you put it over there, maybe you have different backgrounds, maybe you have different colors, maybe you have different ways in which to show that same product to your user. This is not content diversification. This is not creative diversification, which we're now calling one of the biggest strategies, one of the biggest breakthroughs in Meta ever since the whole platform went to the newsfeed, before the right-hand rail ads. This is the biggest change ever. This is not content diversification. This is not creative diversification, because all of these basically look the same to Meta. if you're doing just product shots, like the same old type of product shots that you used to do, or maybe you're using dynamic product ads, you're probably noticing a dramatic drop in performance because people don't go to Meta to just buy. They go to Meta, which is Instagram, which is Facebook, which is WhatsApp, which is the audience network, to browse. And that's the big difference. When people log into Instagram, they're not necessarily looking to buy products. 70% of users on Instagram discover new products on Instagram, so it's a great discovery platform. However, if you're just gonna put buy or conversion-based ads in front of them all the time with no story behind it, with no diversified creative, you're gonna end up paying multiples higher. We've seen CPMs increase in these types of straight to the product ads, straight to conversion ads. We've seen CPMs increase by tenfold because that strategy is an old school strategy. Now, the new way of doing things is quite different. So instead of just having those product-based bottom of funnel, here's my thing, go buy it ads, which still do have a place. That works only if you have other creatives that are diverse and at least 80% diverse than that creative. What we have found through extensive testing is that there are about 10 ad types that we found that work the best to be able to bring people into the fold, understand who you are, what your product is all about, what your product story is all about, what the pain points and or the desires that you're either trying to help them solve or help them get closer to. We found that 10 different ad types are the ad types that work the best. And I am not talking about just bottom of funnel, here's my product, go buy it type of ads. We are talking about people using the product. Okay, this is gonna be a very bad picture. Okay, there's somebody, it's a terrible picture, using the product. Notice, this is a 9x16, it is not a 1x1. It's a very different type of ad. Maybe this might be a video, okay? This might be a static ad, okay? Maybe you actually have an ad with somebody taking the product and trying it on. My God, these pictures are terrible. Maybe you're adding, you've got some boots, somebody sitting here on a chair. The point is none of these three ads actually look like the other ones. And that's the key with creative diversification. So a couple of the most popular ads right now are UGC ads, founder's story, video testimonials, before and after. The point is that every one of these ads is diverse. So what Meta does is through all of this AI technology that I've invested tens of billions of dollars in, and through these amazing called Grace Hopper chips, which is CPUs slash GPUs. You don't need to get into the technical details. What they find is that some people need to see maybe this ad first and then that ad, and then maybe a testimonial, and then a UGC, and then maybe a before and after, and then they get to your product ad. They might need 7 or 8 or 9 different touches, and instead of you trying to force the targeting based on the old school way of doing things, Meta will do all of this for you. And the most important part of this is having diverse creative. But it's gotta be at least 80% different. So this might be Reels, this might be Instagram feed, it might be stories, it might be 16:9 videos, it might be all of these sorts of things. So like I said, we found about 10 different ad types that are the most effective in leveraging the Meta Andromeda algorithm change, and we call it creative diversification. So if you're not exactly sure how to do any of this stuff, or you say, this sounds all great, Ralph, this is great information, but I don't even know where to start, well, check us out over at Tier 11 at tier11.com/CD. There's a ton of information on that page, and it'll help you understand a little bit more about what's going on right now and how this change can dramatically impact your business. We've already spent $7.8 million of our own money in testing it. We've refined it and perfected it for Tier 11 clients. And if you want our help, you can find our help over at tier11.com/CD as well. So hope this video helped you. Feel free to like, comment, share, or visit us over at tier11.com/CD. We'll talk to you in the next video.